All right. Good morning, YouTube. How's everybody doing this morning? Hump Day Wednesday, right? Is here. What's going on? We are not going to talk about the YouTube issue. Everybody can find and dig into that all you want. It's not going to be a challenge for anybody to find news on that or have a discussion. There's lots of things to unpack there. So, looking at the weather here, starting off, obviously that big storm still moving out east. That is just huge winter mess. And then we got winter weather coming over the Pacific coast here. Seattle's getting dumped on all the way into Idaho, and Crom looks like you're getting more snow. It's like we had talked about. It like it moved out of Canada the other day. We're supposed to actually get a good start of rain here coming up in Friday with what they call the atmospheric river with the jet stream coming in this weekend. So we're looking forward to that. Got to get all the things taken care of before that, hopefully, because that'll put the weekend out of action for work progress on the homestead. But you got weather on the Gulf Coast, west, northeast, Midwest. It's a mess. I thought it was March that went out like a lamb, out like a lion. Which is it? April showers bring May flowers. There we go. That's what we're talking about. Looking for those May flowers because there's definitely a lot of rain going on. So that's what you got to look forward to. Who's out here in the side chat? Oh, we got a full crowd already. You guys are showing up early. Jay Sparks was first lurker. How's it going? Yeah, Sparks, did you see that video I did yesterday about the environmentalists are getting all of their feelers hurt because the feds are going to sell off their land from them that they never claimed was theirs until all of a sudden some endangered supposed frog or something's on it. Good morning, 01 Crom. Well, Sparks, how would you know if Crom never sleeps if you're sleeping? That's the question. Hey, Truth Freeze, good morning. Yeah, wacky weather, right? It's just incessant. It hasn't stopped. There's not been I mean, we've had a breakout here, but you folks in like St. Louis and to the east, it's been a mess ever since February. Tommy Boy, good morning. How's it going down south there? Barry Rain, good morning. Yep, a little bit of rain up your way. Maybe some snow if you're higher up. And M Long, good morning, M Long. How you doing? Yep, you got some snow coming your way potentially. It's showing you're catching the tail end of it there, maybe. Um, Dow down 500, and that's what we're going to start with. Futures are opening up with up to a 500-point drop, which they should be open now. But they never. It always takes time. It's okay. They're saying open 450 lower here. It always takes them a few minutes to catch up, since I don't have a real time ticker. But they're blaming it on the China tariffs that were announced last night. It was a brand new round. We talked last week about 126 or some crazy number. And now it's announced 106 new tariffs, including cars, whiskey, and soybeans. So M Long, whiskey directly affects you. Soybeans probably directly affects you. Soybeans affects a lot of places that probably don't realize it, that grow soybeans in your area. The South, Midwest, lots of places grow soybeans nowadays. Um, some analysts are reviewing that critically because you can't replace the U.S. soy output that China gets, is what they boiled it down to. It's just not going to happen. China's not going to be able to go somewhere else and find the soybeans that they get from us. It's not, the numbers don't add up unless somebody really jacks up production. So this shows China's in it to win it is kind of the implication, um, if you will. But it's on, and in the market, Ford and General Motors are down 3.3 and 4% each. So this is not helping things overall. And as we have seen, they're going to find every little reason to make everybody skittish because of the interest rates, if you ask me. But Caterpillar's down, United Technologies, obviously Caterpillar sells big equipment. Boeing, people still buy planes from Boeing from all over the world. But Boeing has to import tariffed aluminum to build a plane to ship back with a tariffed plane to China. Talk about expensive. Trump's tweet, we are not in a trade war with China. That war was lost many years ago by the foolish or incompetent people who represented the U.S. Now we have a trade deficit of $500 billion a year with intellectual property theft, another $300 billion. We cannot let this continue. Interesting perspective. I want to refashion what you prioritize, what the government funds. It only gets more of. Is the government reinforcing failure? That would be the question. So that's in your description box. And of course, they end with something on the central bank. The Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago has a conference that begins, and 2 speeches by Fed officials are due to take place, one in the St. Louis Fed and one from Cleveland Fed president. That's interesting. So they might have comments on such type of trade wars. Let's go back in and check in and see if this is updated while we're here. Yeah, they're saying 450, reading 411 on the ticker. But the job market was good, according to projections here for March. 241,000 jobs. That's not affecting the market at all, though. Something to keep your eye on. Talked about gas prices yesterday. They're inching up. So that's not going to help anybody either. On a similar vein, it was at a Zero Hedge article about the impending doom sense that people are getting in the markets related to and this goes to also relates back to the tariffs and what people are seeing. Here it quotes, except of course for the horrible foreboding sense that something is happening and we don't know what it is. We might hope stocks are a buy here, what treasury yields aren't going to suddenly spike higher, or there are no inflation shocks just around the corner. Hope is never a strategy. This is in Zero Hedge, article submitted by independent guy, it looks like. So it's relatively short, is it? Yeah, it's relatively short here. Most corporate lending risk, so he's really focusing on the bond and the interest rate issues. The ongoing hunt for yield, itself an unintended consequence of central bank unconventional money policy, see the QE issue, quantitative easing, means everyone everywhere wants to find the magic new investment. Yeah, because you got to beat inflation. You have to get a certain percentage you got to get the highest thing possible, because otherwise inflation is going to eat you up. Last year, private equity managers were sitting on over 2.8 trillion, but are still looking to put 1 trillion of that pile that's uninvested to work. That'll really cause inflation. That's something we had been hypothesizing for years, that all this corporate bailout QE money was on the sidelines. And once that hit the markets, and then the interest rate markets adjust accordingly, inflation just gets out of control. All this money's been stuffed in mattresses for so long, figuratively speaking, that once they get put to work, it causes shocks upon shocks in the economy. Article in the quote an article in the Wall Street Journal yesterday here, and he says, quoting that article, American corporations have never carried so much debt relative to GDP before, and the overall quality of this credit has never been so low. Guess who is holding the debt? Pension funds, insurance companies. Pension funds, basically through your IRA, 401k, all those avenues, money, that they're holding. Retirement funds that go group funds into the markets like CalPERS and stuff like that. What's going to happen if the bubble bursts, and where are they going to go? So something to look at. It's in the description box. What's going on out in the side chat again? Catch up with you guys. Where are you guys at? Rain. Barry. Yeah, too much soy, too much of anything is a bad thing, right? Barry, a little less soy. Everything does seem to be going up. As 01 Crom says, in the end, the consumer, you pay for the tariff. The people will always lose. Indeed. Tariffs are always passed down. Tommy Boy, I wouldn't eat those food preps just yet. I don't think. And Truth Freeze is switching over to rice and beans. Is that right? Okay, so next up, we're just going to check in. This is a brief article on the caravan that we covered early in the week that is coming from Honduras and Guatemala, etc., marching through Mexico. They had taken a brief pause, and there was some actions taken by the Mexican government we were suspecting, but it looks like the caravans are still not going to stop. And our worst concern is that they're going to splinter off into several different groups, and then they just disappear into the system, I guess you'd say, as they infiltrate across the border. But they still are organizers. Of course, we know it's an organized event, and continue to push that for anybody you talk to. Like, oh, these poor migrants, this is an organized event. They're being directed and encouraged and funded to come to our border, and whether they're requesting asylum or not, they're being used as a tool. To what end is still the question. So the organizers are planning to go to Baja. So they're coming over to California to cross, and to request asylum there at the border checkpoint. Now, we covered yesterday that there were hundreds of males who were seen leaving the caravan and jumping on freight train to speed up their progress, obviously. But where did they go? I mean, you tell me hundreds of males got on a plane, that's another invasion force. So here's the embedded CNN reporter. At the Caravan General Meeting, Irina Mujica said the caravan will continue and will not be stopped. The group plans on going to Puebla and then Mexico City. After that, they will go with asylum seekers. So they still have that embedded reporter that's reporting from down there. Everyone else was encouraged to take a humanitarian visa in Mexico, a document allowing them to travel for 10 to 20 days in Mexico, or a document giving them permission to stay in the country for 30 days to file for an immigration claim. They will not go beyond Mexico City. So that's all from 2 quotes put out from yesterday. And that's the end of that. So that's a short, I guess you could call that an update, but we haven't seen a whole lot of live video from there. You can live video anywhere in the world, and we still don't see what that's all about. See a couple snapshots, but that's it. So one final one here. If anybody's got anything else, put it in the side chat. Next is just laughable because, see, it's different when it's shoes on the other foot type of situation. The feds are upset because somebody's spying on cell phones in D.C. And I laugh whenever I see this picture of the Stingray, because if we think this is what a Stingray looks like now, I think we're sadly mistaken. This is an analog type device. I'm sure they have a digital readout set up now. This is probably from like the 80s or something that this picture comes from. So for the first time, the federal U.S. government has publicly acknowledged the existence in Washington of what appear to be rogue, which means they just don't approve of them. They're not government devices that foreign spies and criminals could be using to track individual cell phones and intercept calls and messages. Shoes on the other foot, they don't like it so much. The use of what are known as cell phone site simulators by foreign powers has long been a concern, but American intelligence and law enforcement, which use such eavesdropping equipment devices themselves, have been silent on the issue until now. In a March 26 letter, Oregon Senator Ron Wyden, Homeland Security acknowledged that last year it identified suspected unauthorized cell site simulators in the nation's capital. The agency said it did not determine the type of devices in use or who might have been operating it, nor did they say how many it detected or where. Well, of course, they don't want to be outgunned. They want to give away their hand, right? The agency's response, tamed by the AP from Wyden's office, suggests little has been done about such equipment, but known popular as Stingrays after a brand common among U.S. police departments. The Federal Communications Commission, which regulates the nation's airwaves, formed a task force on the subject 4 years ago, but it never produced a report and no longer meets regularly. The device's work, it tells you about how it tricks your mobile device into thinking it's on a cell tower. They can cost anywhere from $1,000 to about $200,000, but are commonly the size of a briefcase. Some are as small as a cell phone. Do you think? On down, thousands of members of the military, NSA, FBI, and the rest of the national security apparatus live and work in the Washington area, right? I mean, they should always believe they're under surveillance, right? I mean, we have to act like that. So shouldn't they have to act like that they're always under surveillance and they have to worry about who's listening? Seems like fair, right? Oh, This is surveillance savvy among them encrypt their phone and data communications and employ electronic countermeasures, but unsuspecting citizens could fall prey. What about the unsuspecting citizens that fall prey to the government apparatus already in place? So Wyden wrote a note to DHS in November requesting information about unauthorized use of cell site simulators. Yep, small panic. Everybody's going to find out who's getting paid off for that fund they were using to pay off sexual assault victims. All that information is going to get out. So the devices were detected in a 90-day trial that began in January 2017 with an equipment from a Las Vegas-based DHS contractor, ESD America. So they had to get a 90-day trial. They were using test equipment, it looks like, to detect the stingrays. They noted in a letter that DHS lacks the equipment and funding to detect stingrays, even though their use by foreign governments may threaten U.S. and national and economic security. Oh, 1984 is coming in full effect. They're just going to continue to drop the curtain. Everything will be monitored by all times and everybody because we can't have anybody going off the grid, leaving the matrix. Again, this is in the description box. Pretty long article here going on down. There's the statement from DHS. The document's actually at the bottom. Wyden said in a statement Tuesday that leaving security to the phone companies has proven to be disastrous. Is that really true? Apple had a iPhone that the FBI couldn't hack, or supposedly couldn't hack, during San Bernardino. Is it really the phone companies that can't provide encryption and security, or is it just because the federal government always requires a backdoor to them, leaving them vulnerable? Maybe that's the issue. If the federal government didn't demand backdoors, maybe encryption would work better. Oh, this is pointing the finger the other direction here. To the extent that there is a major problem here, it's largely due to the FCC not doing its job. The agency, she said, this is Laura Moy saying this from Georgetown, who's probably CIA funded. The agency, she said, should be requiring wireless carriers to protect their networks from such security threats and ensuring that anyone transmitting over licensed spectrum actually has a license to do it. Yeah, government licenses always is the only way to go, right? Good times. Good times. Good article there. Check that one out. What's going on in the side chat? We're about ready to wrap it up, folks. Throw any other issues out there in the side chat. We're probably going to do a video later about the YouTube San Bruno situation. Welcome, M. Harrison. Shepard3, welcome to the chat. Yeah, Shepard, I'm not sure which piece of equipment you're looking at. This one doesn't have any USB connectors on it. Oh, there's two in the front. but there's got to be a better digital model than this. This is like there's ham equipment. Ham equipment's more modern than this. I don't know, just my perspective. That looks ancient. It's like something you'd see the Marines carry when the Army already has, you know, PRC 98s or whatever they carry next. Am Harrison, welcome. Hardcore Defense Alpha Shield. Is that communications related, or you say it's off topic? ZPD Survival, good morning. So you got snow again? Yeah, it looked like so when we started the beginning. Hey, Tony, pay attention. We're not talking about that YouTube situation in here, or you can find that out yourself. Walter Davis, Tony. Skynet was real, got bought out. Is that right, Imlong? Was it an actual corporation? Skynet makes the talking walk signs. Is that right? Huh. Hardcore Defense Alpha Shield. Is that your link there, Truth Freeze? Is that what you just put up? Oh, we're talking about personal defense. So it looks like we. Oh, that's interesting. So check out that link that Truth just put in. That's got to do. It looks like body armor, or you can use it anywhere else, I guess. Certified ballistic shield. I guess it's not really. I should say it's not personal defense. It's a ballistic shield for, as it says in the description, home or workplace defense. And that's the link that Truth Freeze just put in the side chat there. We'll get that over to the description box as well, but simple enough. Are you just getting off work, Tony, or is this your dinner time? What's your time schedule like now? Yeah, Harrison, you could use it for a home like front door, or it'd be good for side doors. It looks like potentially 14 pounds. You could put it in your door of a vehicle, etc. Jay Sparks, you've seen Tony's infomercial, I see. Tony's chat the other night getting off the rails. That's an interesting piece of kit if you think you need it or have a use for it, for sure. It's one of those things you don't think you need it until you really need it, and then it's too late. Just like the fellow that was, just to, we'll close with this, I guess. The one fellow that did, I don't know if I can pull up that video or not. Fella came out of the Google shooting yesterday and was talking to the reporter. He's like, I didn't have a gun, but I wish I did. At that point, it's too late, folks. It's definitely too late. If when you really need a gun, it might be too late if you don't already have it. I don't think I have a quick link to that, but you could probably look that up. It's been mirrored over a dozen places of that guy talking. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I might get around to it later today. Tony's probably got it on the quick draw, right? Bikes, it was worse than Congress. They're spying on the FBI and everybody else. That's who they're really worried about. Thanks for joining us, Bikes. I haven't seen you up this early. Your reveille time been shifted or what? Yeah, I don't see a video made in the last 8 hours or so with that guy, but there's got to be some out there um, of that older guy. It's probably going to be on the news stations, but it's definitely something to share with as many people as you can. Um, it was a good one. It's no better quote than you can get from a survivor than "I didn't have a gun, but I wish I had." Says it all. Especially when you're in gun control free zone, inside a gun control free zone, inside a gun control zone. You know, layers upon layers failed. Oh, this is the time of year you get up earlier, Bikes? It just shifted April 1st. Is that like your day? Right. All right, folks. Thanks for coming out. Looks like you guys got it all covered. Hey, no problem, Harrison. Worth discussing and checking out. We'll do it. ZPD's just finishing Crazy Horse, right? Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Never surrender your guns, ever. All right, everybody. Have a good day. Have a good hump day. Live free.